I'm going to show you how to do the first steps of your shorts project. The first step is for layout and pinning. For letter A, it says to fold your fabric with the right sides together so it looks like it's inside out. If your fabric looks the same on both sides, like this one, you just pick one to decide which one will be inside out. If you have a fabric that looks like this, where one side is more faded, this is what it should look like. Letter B says to pin the selvage edges together with a few pins. Remember, the selvage edge is the one that's machine finished, and the raw edge is the one that was cut and probably has some of the threads fraying off of the end. Okay, what you're going to do is put some pins down the selvage edge to make sure that your fabric stays together. Okay, so make sure that your fabric lays flat, okay, before you put any pins in. And then you're going to start at one end and you're going to put a pin down through both layers of your fabric, and then it's going to come back up again like this. I'm going to move about 6 inches down. I'm just maybe the length of my hand. Notice how if I just put the pin down and I don't make it come back up like I did before, I'd be able to pull it right back out again. Okay, once it comes back up, this one is going to be stuck in there. Okay, so I have to make sure that when I put my pins in, it goes down through both layers and then comes back up again. That part's important. Okay, then I'm going to move down again, put another pin, all the way down the whole length of my fabric. So the pins go down and back up again, down and back up again, and I'll do one more at the end. Okay. Once you have your fabric pinned, then you're going to be putting your pattern piece on there. Okay, there's 2 pattern pieces. One says front, one says back. You're going to need to use one of each of these, but just use one at a time. So the first one I'll use is the front pattern. You're going to lay, where on letter C it says to lay the first pattern on the fabric with the side of the pattern piece parallel to the selvage. Okay, so I want to have my pattern piece, so it's on my fabric, and so it's going to be going up and down with my fabric so the side is parallel to the selvage edge. I don't want it to be sideways like this. Okay. There is a note here that says if you have a one-way design, make sure the design on your fabric is facing the same way as the words on the pattern. So if your fabric looks like this one, though there are words on this one that all go the same way. You want the top of the words on your pattern to match the top of the words on your fabric. So if the top of the words are on going this way, that means the top of my words on my pattern have to be up at the same time. If I put it upside down, now the top of my words are facing up here, but these are the bottom of the words on the fabric. This would make the pattern be upside down on your shorts. You want it to be laying like this. So you're going to lay your pattern on your fabric, and then we're going to be looking at the arrow that goes down the middle. This is to say that this is saying where the middle of your shorts is so that it's going to be straight. It says letter D to measure from each end of the grain line arrow, that's this, to the selvage over here, and adjust the pattern to make the arrow parallel to the selvage, so you're making the measurements be the same. So I'm going to use my tape measure, and I'm going to measure from one end of the arrow over to the edge that I pinned. Okay, this is the selvage edge. Okay, it does not matter what this number is. I want to make it so it's a nice even number. So I can move my whole pattern in my tape measure to make it so that this is at a 10 or an 11. Okay, wherever it is, I want it to be a whole number so it's going to be easy for me to read. Okay, now I have to make the other arrow be the same. Okay, so now over here, I'm going to move to the other end of the arrow, I'm moving my tape measure out, and I'm going to make it so that this arrow is right at the 10 also. It does not matter what this number is, so long as it is the same on both ends of the arrow, then I know it's going to be straight on the fabric. So if this arrow says 10, then I want this arrow to say 10 also. Once I know that this is straight, I'm going to put pins in it so it doesn't move on me. So again, I have to put the pin down through all of the layers and then make it come back up again. And I'm going to put 5 pins on my pattern piece, one in each one of the corners so that it's going to stay down. So the pin goes down and back up again. Down and back up again. Down and back up again. And down and back up again. Now I have my pattern pinned in place. I want to make sure that it didn't move when I was pinning it, so I'm going to double check that I have the right measurements. This one's at 10, and this one's at 10. I know it's straight. The next thing I have to do is going to be tracing it, and I'll show you that next.